Hello everyone, and I hope you've had a great week and you've been doing lots of painting and felt inspired. And this week I want to really carry on from where we left off with the play painting with the shapes, to see, at the next level. And I think this is an area where there's a tendency to get in a mess with it. What do you do now when you get to this kind of stage of the painting and you've had a wonderful time playing, experimenting, enjoying it, and you want to do something more with it? So I'm going to give you a few ideas to inspire you and suggestions that you might be able to use in your own painting to get some fantastic results. So let me show you the painting where it was last time. So here it is, and we'd gone through lots of different stages using shapes to create the first design, painting in the red and then all the other colours. If you saw the last video, we got to this stage, and you could just leave it like that as a play painting. But it's always kind of interesting to push the boundaries and see what else might happen. So I want to show you a few ideas of how you might do that. Now you could go straight into the painting as it is, or you could, as a suggestion, make some photocopies. Take a photograph of the picture and then make some photocopies of the painting. And then you can experiment on here, on the photocopies, with different ideas. So that's what I was doing on this one. And I discovered that there were basically 3 figures on here, sort of having fun, enjoying themselves. So I've been sort of playing around a little bit with this. And on this one, I haven't, I want to do something else, but I haven't got there with it yet. I might do something completely different. But it's a very interesting way to explore what you have done in your play painting and what more you could do to continue experimenting with it and playing with it. So I want to then transfer this on to the painting and then paint into it a little bit, and we'll see where it goes. But this idea of having the same picture, okay, albeit it's a little bit smaller on the photocopy and the colours aren't quite as obviously as strong as the actual paint itself, but it does give you an idea of all different playthings that you can do without having without worrying about what it's going to turn out like. And I'm very passionate about really taking your painting forward so you get as much from the experience as possible and enjoying it and discovering something new about yourself, what you're kind of expressing on the painting, how you're feeling, how you're relating to the colours. When we're looking at colours, it's so interesting how we view them. A lot of the time we can tend to just glide over things, out and about doing our thing. We don't really hone in on the vibrancy of colours, the different tone values, the different shadow colours. And the more we can do that, the more it has an impact on our painting, but also on ourselves. And I think that's one of the most important things. We're wanting to really step out of the box of what we just normally do and find different ways of doing something. Now, there's only so many ways that you can do things, but to find your way of doing something, how you want to express yourself, And you know, sometimes we have the same thoughts and feelings and opinions as other people. But most of the time, we have our own thoughts and our own feelings and our own opinions. And those are the things that we want to impart in our painting. So doing these kind of exercises where you're, you know, open to give yourself permission to try different things. So I'm going to have a little play on now the actual painting, having done something on the photocopy. But just before I do, you know, another thing that you can do with the photocopy and indeed on the painting, I mean, you don't have to do this. It just gives you options. So I might decide, I've got some charcoal, a charcoal stick here. So on this other one, instead of going with what I did with that, maybe I'll turn it around. Maybe I'll turn it this way. And, you know, what am I seeing here? Well, I can see, you know, some different kind of things happening this way round. I can sort of see these circles. And obviously I've got this very pronounced shape here with the triangle up here and the stripes down here. So I could start playing around, doing some other things with the charcoal just to change it up, see, you know, how I could do something completely different with the painting. So I'm going to come back to this one later, but I think that kind of gives you an idea of how you can push yourself in different directions with the same painting and, you know, see where it takes you, what more you could do with it, how you could change it up, because you've got many different opportunities. But let me go back now to the actual painting. And, you know, with the charcoal, I'm going to follow through with how I feel this has come together and see exactly what might happen. I'm seeing this figure here, and it's sort of like an arm coming down here in a way, and it starts to, you know, take on something you know, very different to how it was initially. And I kind of really enjoying how these things can unfold as we go. I kind of feel this would come around here and here, coming down here. See, it really starts changing itself up. So I'm going to seal that. I don't want to smudge that in because of the charcoal. And you can use some fixative, or you could use some hair lacquer. I'm just going to use a bit of hair lacquer on here, not very much. And if you're doing a lot of this, you need to you know, take it outside because of the fumes. But now I've got sort of like a layout here to work on. I might actually, I might just do a little bit more drawing on here, just to get me in the zone. And, you know, then when I paint over it, you know, I'll have something of this coming through. Kind of like this idea of play. See, you can do so many different kinds of things to make it exciting and thrilling. So because I've got a bit more charcoal on here, I'm going to give it another quick spray. So now, let's start painting into it and see what happens. Now then, I think I'm going to change this slightly. So, once you start again, things can really start making a difference in the picture. And I'm really kind of, you get excited again to the possibilities. I kind of think over here would be cool with some white. And you don't think about it too much. You're still kind of in the zone and fascinated with the process and, going with your instincts. Now, sort of what I see here, this face or person here, this is all in red and this is all in red. So something needs to be changed there. So I'm going to change that up. And I think I'm going to go with a bit of light yellow in here, just to come round it. You see, then again it takes on a whole new dimension. You can still see, what's going on underneath, and I can scrape into it and do different things, which I will do. I think I'm going to take out this black here and do something else with that. Maybe it becomes a hat or something. But for the time being, I'm going to take that out. So I'm going to speed up the video a little because obviously this takes a lot of time and we don't want to be here all day. And you can see the process as I'm going. And as you're watching, you might just ask yourself a few questions. I love doing this because it makes us think about things a little bit differently. Why does art matter to you? What is it that you love about it? Answering some of these questions gives you some clarity about the direction that you want your painting to go in. And what is it about abstracts that make you feel good? How is that kind of coming up in your mind when you think about it? And answering some of these questions, I always find for myself really fascinating because, why do we do this? What is it that gives us so much pleasure in it? The creative feeling, the intuitive feeling, the the things that we want to express that we might not be able to talk about, but we can express in our paintings. And how do we make it part of our life? I think we can get really hooked, can't we? We don't want to stop. And I feel that this is a very important part of our art journey. It's not just about painting pictures. It's the whole feeling of everything, buying our colours, thinking about different things that we would love to paint, looking at other paintings, and getting that feeling that when we are painting, we're in a different world. And I feel that, when we look at painting in that way, it gives us so much on so many different levels. It's a healer if we're feeling, anxious or we've got challenges in our life. It takes our mind into a different sphere to think about those challenges differently. It gives us something very special about ourselves and our own uniqueness and our own creativity. And, I think we can sort of explore all those different kinds of feelings in our painting. So, take a little bit of time, have a think about those questions and, see how you come up with the answer. How do you feel about that? And may I ask you another question? Are you enjoying the video? And if you are, then it would be fantastic if you would like it and subscribe. It's all free. and it helps YouTube share the video with a lot of other people who might be looking for the same thing as you know, to find painting as an outlet for their emotions and their self-expression. So that would be wonderful. Thank you. So I'm making some progress here now with the painting. You know, I'm doing some different things with it, you know, creating different textures, some smooth areas and some textured areas, increasing some of the colors, you know, doing some different tones of the red, going darker and also going lighter, and you know, defining some of the shapes, and it starts to take on a life of its own and tells its own story. And I think this is one of the most fascinating things about our painting, is it does tell a story. When I look at how this painting is unfolding, I see you know, something inside me that is reflected in it, about various situations that I personally am going through at the moment. And it tells that story for me. And, you know, when I've finished, I'll show it to you, and then you can see what story it tells you, what resonates with you with it. And that's kind of when we look at our painting, what story is it telling? What story is it telling us? And what story are you perhaps wanting to tell other people in your painting, in your expression? And this is where, you know, when people talk so much about finding their own style, you have your own style because you have your own story. No one's gone through the experiences that you have. So what you put down on paper is absolutely personal to you. And I think that is something really important to remember when you're painting. You don't have to find your style, it finds you with your expression, with your way of painting and your own specific story of what you're painting out. And I think this is very much what makes art part of our life, because once we really get into it, it can have a profound effect on everything that we do. You know, we start looking at things differently. Like I was talking at the beginning, you know, when we're talking about color, we start noticing things differently outside us, but perhaps we also start noticing different things inside us. You know, we become aware of how we are feeling and how we're expressing that in our painting. So, you know, I always say art is life and life is art. And that kind of gives us a whole new perspective and a new dimension to everything that we're doing. And I find that that is, you know, a wonderful thing to have in our life, to have our painting in our life to give us those new dimensions. Certainly, I feel that, you know, we look at color differently and look at tones differently. You know, when I look outside my window, you know, I've got a lot of greenery around me on the mountains and the hills, and all the different colors of green are absolutely astounding. And now it's, you know, coming into spring and all the flowers are out, the yellow flowers, it just changes the whole landscape and the colors and the shadows. And it's wonderful. It really kind of embraces what I love about painting and how I feel that it's going. So I think we're making progress on this picture, and I think I'm nearly there with it. It's got a lot of interesting things going on, and it's completely transformed, I think you'd agree, from where we started, and tells a lovely story to me. It looks like somehow like an Indian family huddled together, or children,
huddled together in beautiful costumes and bright colours. And, you know, if we remember, we were using colours right at the beginning in the first video I did of this, of using colours that we don't normally use. And this certainly has been enlightening for me to use these colours and create this little picture intuitively. So I hope that you have benefited from this, and you can use some of the things that we've talked about, using the photocopies and experimenting. So if you have any questions, do put them in the comments, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. I do get to answer them all, and that would be great. And here is the finished picture for you to have a look at. So it's been an interesting process, don't you think?
You know, doing this constantly keeps you inspired and interested and motivated and excited about your painting. And if you want lots more of excitement in your painting, then check out the links below for my different free courses. And if you'd like to trial my 4-week immersive course, the Ultimate Art Connection course, then have a go with that, and I'll put the link below. That's all about a spiritual approach to painting, a deep dive into the subjects that I cover with my YouTube video, but obviously can't move into the same way. So the 4-week course really takes your painting to another level. So check it out, take the free trial, that would be great. So have a play and see how you get on. Watch how you're feeling about the colours that you're using, what's happening, see your theme, see what's occurring in your painting, and most of all, have fun. Thanks so much for watching, lots of love, and see you next time.